humble of home in the land vessel. So if you've been following my story, I haven't been posting too much on here as far as the story goes, but back in November of 2023, on the 4th, that's whenever I left standing on my mission, standing against colonization and the genocidal effects of colonization and the human trafficking effects of colonization, because let's make one thing clear, that human trafficking is derived from colonization. All the children that were displaced from the Trail of Tears, from the Indian Removal Act of 1830 to the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, the amount of children that were displaced from their parents and their families and their entire generational culture and heritage was completely deleted from their entire lives, and they're most of the time, pretty much most of the time, given to Christianized or Catholicized families, and yeah, their entire language was deleted. And I left on this mission back on November 4th of 2023, and yesterday marked 590 days that I've been on this mission. So a year and 7 months, going on a year and 8 months of being on this mission. So I was in the Jeep for a year and 5 months, and I stopped paying my Jeep payment, and it was back in February of 2024. That's whenever I made my last payment, was in February of 2024, and I went all the way until March of 2025 without paying any payments, and I was basically dodging the repo man. I was basically dodging the repo man, and I didn't pay my insurance, I didn't pay for registration. I was basically driving a car that was supposedly owned by the bank, but all that shit, whenever you go buy a car and sign your name off, they're just taking that money out of your trust anyways, that we don't even have access to. Just like whenever you go to court or pay your bills, they're taking all that money out of your trust. And I'm trying to learn more about the legalese system and the whole straw man, how we basically give consent to giving away our trust and our property. And yeah, this goes back to the encomienda system. Back in the 1500s, Spanish conquistadors were given the right to basically enslave or genocide anybody that was on the lands that they were staking claim to. So if you look at the word encomienda, the word come is encomienda, and come means to have eaten, like 181. So I'm gonna bust out my slides today and do a little lesson on the Thought to Jed pillars and show you folks how we build the Thought to Jed pillars and this 181 symbol that I channeled, and how it literally connects frequency with time. So back on 5/9 of 2022, that's whenever I researched the story of Romo slaying his twin brother Remo, the story of one eating the other one, the twins. One is sacrificing the other, and this is the fall of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. So it's a story of colonization, and to have researched the story on 5/9, that's the actual day of the first day of the celebration, but it's rather a mocking of these twins, or a mocking of the divine feminine frequency, which is Re. The ninth solfeggial tone is Re, and that equals note D when note A is tuned to 432 hertz. And if you look at the etymology of Romo slays his twin brother Remo, and Re is 9 hertz. Ro, that means man. The etymology of Ro means man, and Mo means more. So more man slays more Re in 44 BC. And if you were to look at the sacrum chakra, here where 44 Hertz lives on the Thoth-Djed pillar cipher system, the chakra chart, that lines up with 417 Hertz here at the sacrum. 432 Hertz is also a frequency that runs here at the sacrum. So you could say that those are the twins. 432 Hertz, that's the divine feminine frequency, because the digital root of 432 Hertz, 4 plus 3 plus 2 equals 9, and more man slays more Re. Re is the ninth solfeggio tone, and that is equal to 432 Hertz. So the twins, 440 Hertz, the masculine, slays the feminine, 432 Hertz. So it's an allegory in the story. Julius Caesar is assassinated in 44 BC, the rise of the Roman Republic, or the fall of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. And it's the same story of Christ being crucified on 4/3, the next day being 4/4. So the dismantling of the Gregorian calendar happened 3 years after creating the Thoth-Djed pillars on 8/8 of 2022. I built this Thoth-Djed pillar by taking apart the word Thoth. I'm going to get into the notes, that way you guys can see a visual versus me explaining it and you guys having to like visualize what I'm seeing in my head. And yeah, give me a second here. Living in between dimensions, you could say. Coming from Arizona and being homeless for 10 days, whenever I lost Jeep, I was literally down to my suitcase, and get a little comfortable here. Oh yeah, I was down to my suitcase, and I was in my sandals. I left every pair of shoes that I had, I left them in the Jeep, and literally had to go to the Goodwill and buy a pair of shoes because I was dragging my suitcase all around town in sandals. And yeah, a lady from Serbia sent me literally Western Unioned me money to buy this van. The guy delivered the van to me in Cottonwood, Arizona, and once I got the van, I drove to Santa Cruz, and I'm here at the beach, and the weather here averages 63 to 72 degrees on average, like all through the summer. And I was about to drive to Salt Lake for work here today, just to start making some money. And I started thinking about it, and it's like, why would I go to Salt Lake and it's 95 fucking degrees out there, and I'd only be making 20 to 25 bucks an hour painting? It's like, I might as well just stick it out here. I'd have to spend $350 to $400 just in gas just to get to Utah. So I'm like, I might as well just fucking stay here in Santa Cruz and be by the beach, do some live videos. I haven't done any lives for you guys on YouTube here. I've been doing them all on Instagram, so I need to play a little catch up with you folks here. And all of my charts that you guys see on my video shorts, where it's just going through chart after chart after chart, and each chart is on there for maybe like 1.2 to 1.5 seconds. All of those charts have been channeled, and it's data that I've been using to organize this whole entire thing. And each one of those charts, the further that you go back in time of whenever I first started doing this, the charts are just fucking fully chaotic to where I was still figuring out everything and trying to find everything and put everything in its place. I was seeing this mathematic system but didn't know exactly what it was and where everything had a place. And the more that I started to organize things, that's whenever I'd start to find things that are hidden. So let me grab this. Recently had that strawberry full moon on 6/11, but this is what I'm working with here, that I've got all, and everything is in its place. And the Gregorian calendar, connecting it with frequency and time and the thought to Jed Pillars was one thing, but actually finding out what the purpose behind this calendar system was for, and whoever designed it, Christopher Clavius, German Jesuit priest, and the Gregorian calendar was, they started it on 10/14, and the date was actually 10/4 on the Julian calendar, and they basically just skipped 10 days. So all of a sudden from 10/4 went to 10/14, and the Gregorian calendar started in 1582. So the Gregorian calendar was created by a German Jesuit priest, and this is very, very important to remember. Just like the Illuminati was founded by former Jesuit Adam Weisenhop, German Jesuit, the Bavarian Illuminati, founded on 501, the Matrix, May 1st, May Sons, Matrix, you've been matrixed. So the date 501 equals 121 days. And the Illuminati, to illuminate something, you need an electromagnetic force. Photons, they represent the entire spectrum of electromagnetic radiation, and they're the smallest possible particles of light. And to illuminate something, you need light, electromagnetism. So for the Illuminati to be founded on 501, the 121st day of the year, 121, L11 times L11 equals 121. L, when you mirror and flip it upside down, it's the number 73, when 730 minutes equals 1210 in time, like the Illuminati founded on 501 equaling 121 days, and 501 in time equals 301 minutes, when 181 minutes equals 301 in time. 181, that's your electromagnetic force. Hi. Your electromagnetic force. See the number L11? See how L is there? That's your electromagnetic force. And the number, or just your positive and negative, and your negative positive magnets. This magnet, the positive end is up on top and the negative is on bottom. And here's another magnet, and the negative's on top and the positive's on the bottom. And when you put them up together like that, it creates the electromagnetic force. And it's the number 11. See that? Electromagnetic force, L11. And this is the symbol that I channeled here by creating 4 circles of the flower of life and creating a cross, and I put 2 lines on the side and it creates the 181 and the 1331. And this is literally your electromagnetic force. If I was to flip that on its side, that's what it would look like. And if I was to flip these magnets forward, if I was to flip this forward, the tops of these, you just see 2 dots. If you're looking at this, if you're looking at these from up here straight down, all you'd see are 2 circles, the positive end and the negative end. You're seeing the positive end and the negative end, and the electromagnetic force would look like that. So when you flip this on its side, you get the 181. And 528 hertz, the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum. Where is that? Yeah, so 528 hertz, that's the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum, right? And 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days. Like 528. I don't know why I wrote 181 there. And your L11 Fibonacci is 55, and 55 lined with 528 on the thought to dead pillars, and 550 days equals 18 months and 1 day, like 181, like your 181 electromagnetic force. The 55th octave above sound is light. And yeah, there's your L11 times L11 equaling 121, and L there flipped to 73, and 730 minutes equals 12:10 in time. Your 121st harmonic is 31, and L11 times L11 times L11 equals 1331. So when we incorporate the 13 circles, or the 19 circles in the flower of life, if you mirror and flip that, it's a 61. And there's also 61 circles in the flower of life. You can Google this. And 190 weeks equals 1331 days, like your 1331 symbol. And 610 in time converts to 1810 in time, like your 181 symbol. Your 19 circles in the flower of life and your 61 circles in the flower of life. Not only that, 610 days equals 1 year, 8 months and 1 day, like 181, like 610 converting to 1810. And that's a lot of time to be recycling itself like that. And L mirrored, or just when you mirror and flip L, it's a 73, and 73 mirrors 37, and 370 minutes equals 610 in time. Round and round we go. Leo mirrored and flipped is 037, and Leo the lion holds the flower of life, and there's 61 circles in that flower of life, when 370 minutes equals 610 in time. So, see the 383 on here? The date 118, January 18th, if you were to count the whole entire year, 365 days, and go back into January 1st, and when you get to the 383rd day, that lines up with the date 118. And when you mirror 118, you get 811, and 811 minutes equals 1331 in time, like your 1331 symbol here. And this is all about 59 the Lemuria. Romo says his twin brother Remo, 181. And 59 plus 59 equals 118, like the date 118, lining up with 383 days. And yeah, 5 hours and 90 minutes equals 6:30 in time, when the date 6:30 equals 181 days. So this thing just, like, it keeps going. L mirrored and flip being 121, and L mirrored and flip being 73, and 730 minutes equals 12:10 in time, when L11 times L11 equals 121. The date 7:3, which is L mirrored and flipped, equals 181 days remain. And this is all about the thought of the Jed pillar. full version here. This connects with your Lionsgate portal, but this is the guts of the Thoth, the Djed pillars. Whenever you take apart the word Thoth, spelled in capital letters, Thoth, you get the halls of Amenti. There's your O. T is that's 2 lines. H, that's 3 lines. TH, 2 lines and 3 lines. You're getting 10 lines, and that sets up 5 sets of 11s. Your 11th Fibonacci is 55, when 5 times 11 equals 55. And whenever we could also, he's showing us the electromagnetic force, right? You're positive, you're negative, and you're negative, and you're positive. We're building this out of the electromagnetic force. Photons represent the entire spectrum of electromagnetic radiation, and when we use the number of broken space-time symmetry and photon absorption, the golden angle, 137.5 times 8, it equals 110 hertz. And when you drop the 0, it's 11, and that's what we're building this with the electromagnetic force. So when we take apart the word Thoth, you're getting 5 sets of the electromagnetic force, and the 55th octave of sound is light. Your L11th Fibonacci is 55, and this corresponds with the 19 and the 61 circles in the Flower of Life. So this proves that the L11th Fibonacci is 55. 550 days equals 18 months and 1 day, like 181. And your electromagnetic force, 520 hertz, the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum connected to the sound system of our universe. And 550 days equals 18 months and 1 day. 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days, like 528. And 528 lines up with 550 on the Thoth, the Djed pillar calendar cipher system. 55 lines up with 528, and this is like the full on pillar. This is it more broken down. And how I built this, I was reading the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, and he kept talking about the Lords of the Nine and how he was initiated, and he went into the underworld, and the Lords of the Nine aren't what they seem. And after reading and studying this book for over a year, I was like, who the fuck are these Lords of the Nine, and why did they start from the 3 to the 9, and there's only 7 of them? And yeah, I just had all these questions to where I finally, one day I just decided to mirror the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and line them up with the 9 solfège tones, and that's what I did. I lined up with 3 with 396, 4 with 417, 5 with 528, 6 with 639, 7 with 741, 8 with 852, and 9 with 963 hertz, and I mirrored them shits, and we're counting in increments of 11. And whenever we look at the guts of this thing, when we take apart each section of the Kundalini spiral, this is the Kundalini energy force going up. And if we were to take this apart in sections, like your Thoth, you're taking apart the word Thoth, you're getting the halls of Amenti. This electromagnetic force, the 11, can also be looked at as curved lines. And these numbers are just representing these curved lines. So 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66. When you get to the 99, you got 9 sets of 11. And 11 times 9 equals 99. But these 11 are just written in curved lines representing this Kundalini system taken apart. And if you look at, you can see that the 181 within this and the 1331, it's a sigil representing these symbols. And whenever you start incorporating the Flower of Life, the 61 circles in the Flower of Life, 61 minutes equals 101. And we're stacking 101s on top of each other. That's the 101, that's a 101, that's a 101. That's representing each section of this Kundalini. So when 61 minutes equals 101, and when you stack 2 101s on top of each other, it creates the 181. When 610 in time converts to 1810 in time, and 610 days equals 1 month and 1 day and all that shit. And your 19 circles in the Flower of Life, 61 mirrored and flipped is a 19, and 190 weeks equals 1331 days. So the sync connects with the Flower of Life, the 19 circles, the 61 circles, your 520 hertz, the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum, 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days, like 528 hertz. 55 lines up with 528 on the Thoth the Jed Pillar cipher system here. 55 lines up with 528, right? So for 550 days to equal 18 months and 1 day, and 181 days equal 5 months and 28 days, it's pretty fucking insane. Because, yeah, 550 minutes equals 910 in time, and 91 minutes equals 131, and 1331 converts to 131, and 90 weeks equals 1331 days. So 550 is equal to 19 and 61, because fucking 61 1810 converts to 610. You're 61 circles in the flower of life. Yeah, so it just there's an intertwining and an intermingling going on, and we're talking about photon absorption, electromagnetism, the number of broken space-time symmetry, and photon absorption, the gold angle the spiral that's manifest in pine cones and sunflowers, 137.5 times 8 equaling 110 hertz, the root harmonic of 440 hertz in the second octave, and 550 hertz, that's the fifth harmonic, and 110 hertz, the root harmonic of 110 hertz, or the root harmonic of 440 hertz. So yeah, that's 110 hertz, that's the root harmonic of 440 hertz in the second octave. So 550 hertz, that's the fifth harmonic, and 110 hertz. And we're talking about harmonics in music, connecting with broken space-time asymmetry and photon absorption, and the flower of light, the 61 circles and 19 circles of the flower of light, and it creates this sigil system here. And this gets more into like the colonization shit. I'll get into that here in a bit. But yeah, just want to give you guys a crash course of how this was built, mirroring the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and lining them up with the 9 solfeggio tones, 396 hertz through 963 hertz for your crown chakra. And we're counting in increments of 11, 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99. That's increments of 11. And your Thoth crown, positive 1, negative 1, 0, positive 1, negative 1. That spells Thoth on your 1111. Take away the positive and negative and the 0, you're left with 1111, and that's the crown. 61 circles in the flower of life times 11 equals 671, when 671 minutes equals 1111 in time. And we're absorbing light through this crown here, and .671 minutes equaling 1111 in time. 671, that's the speed of light, 671 million miles per hour. The speed of light equal to 186,000 miles per second, and 299,790,458 meters per second, and that is the coordinates of the pyramids of Giza. And we're talking about Thoth, the Atlantean, the god of wisdom from from ancient Egypt. So channel Thoth, the Djed pillars, and the 181. And this was on 88 Lions Gate portal. And your Lions Gate portal, that's on 88. That equals 220 days to 221 days. 22 days equals 528 hours. 1 hour and 81 minutes equals 221 in time, like 221 days. So the 181 connects with the Lions Gate portal. 528 hertz connects with the Lions Gate portal, because that equals 220 days, and 22 days equals 528 hours, and 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days. 1 hour and 81 minutes equals 221 in time, like the date 88 equaling 221 days on leap year. So the 61 circles in the flower of life connecting with the Lions Gate portal. Leo, the lion, he holds the flower of life. There's 61 circles in that flower of life. Leo, mirrored and flipped, equals 037. Leo, the lion, holds the flower of life. There's 61 circles in that flower of life, when 370 minutes equals 610 in time. And to prove that mathematically, 37 times 3 equals 111. 61 times 3 equals 183, when 1830 military time equals 1110 minutes, corresponding with 37 times 3 equaling 111. See that? That's called proof.
So, the Lionsgate portal connecting frequency with time. This was after I channeled the ninth harmonic of the photon belt on 5/9 the Lemuria, and 11 days later on 5/19, the 139th day of the year, when 99 minutes equals 139 in time, like the ninth harmonic being 99 hertz. After channeling the ninth harmonic of the photon belt, channeled the 181 symbol on 5/19, when 519 days equals 74 weeks and 1 day, like your solfeggio tone, 741 hertz. And 88 months equals 7 years, 4 months and 1 day, like 741 hertz. Connecting frequency with time. Years measures time. Months measures time. Days measures time. Hertz measures beats per second. Seconds, that's time. And yeah, connecting frequency with time. And the thought, the Jed pillars, and whenever I started to get to the crown here, we're counting in increments 11, 33, 44, 55, 66, 78, 88, 89, plus 11 equals, or let's just say the crown is 1111 plus 11 equals 1122. And that's whenever I started to go down with this thing. So 1122 lined up with 88 at the third eye audio, 852 hertz, and 1122 plus 11 equals 1133. That lined up with the throat chakra. 1133 plus 11 equals 1144 hertz, lined up with the heart chakra. 1144 hertz plus 11 equals 1155. That lines up with the solar plexus. And 1155 plus 11 equals 1166, lined up with the sacrum. 1166 plus 11 equals 1177, lined up here at the root chakra. The fire, this is underground. Above this is ground level. The base of the Pyramid of Giza measures 440 cubits, and the Queen's Chamber measures 11.88 cubits, including the gable. And that's what lines up here at the sacrum. 1177 plus 11 equals 1188, lined up here at the sacrum. And they found remnants of hydrochloric acid and zinc in the Queen's Chamber, just like your pancreas secretes enzymes that work with the bicarbonates that's secreted by the kidneys. The L-electrolyte salt that works with the enzymes acts as a hydrochloric acid working with the bicarbonate, which is an electrolyte, like the zinc being an electrolyte, like the hydrochloric acid being found in the pyramids of Giza. And this creates a piezoelectric effect, just like bicarbonate working with the nitric oxide that's secreted from the endothelium of your heart, stimulated by the oxytocin within the hypothalamus chamber from your pituitary gland that stimulates the nitric oxide within the endothelium of your heart, and that's what works with the bicarbonate electrolytes secreted by your kidneys in the sacrum, your L-electrolyte salts, and that's what fuels ATP production, fueling oxidative phosphorylation. 37 genes of the mitochondrial genome. You have 13 of those genes that are responsible for providing instructions for creating enzymes that are responsible for oxidative phosphorylation. Your inner plasma, your inner bioluminescence. Ultrasonic acoustic waves begin connecting to your DNA. Our DNA is a liquid crystal, just like the proteins that are being secreted, a liquid crystal Christ consciousness. It's an electron carrier, it's a photon carrier. And we fucking absorb light. And that light, it's usually ideas. And we manifest those ideas into the reality in our solar plexus. Once that idea is secreted through that oil, and that Christ oil, which Christ was crucified on 4/3, the next day being 4/4, at age 33 in 33 AD, when the date 4/3 equals 3 months and 3 days, and 430 minutes, he was crucified on 4/3, and 430 minutes equals 710 in time, 710 in time. Mirror and flip that. Flip 710 in time upside down. It spells oil, like Christ oil, like your piezoelectric liquid crystal oil that's secreted from your hypothalamus chamber. And that's oxytocin. And the ox lines up here at the third eye audio. Your oxytocin, your auxiliary in, your Taurus is a fucking ox. Your pineal gland has 2 little antennas on that thing. And yeah, oxytocin works with nitric oxide, and that's secreted in the heart. And your heart-mind convergence, 88 times photon absorption, 137.5, equals 121 gigawatts. 1210 lines up at the heart. L Evan times L Evan equals 121. L mirrored and flipped is 73 when 730 minutes equals 1210 in time. And zodiac lines up here at the heart. Cancer, 6 hours and 90 minutes equals 7:30 in time. 173 mirrored and flipped is L, and L Evan times L Evan equals 121, and 730 minutes equals 1210 in time. And Cancer lines up here at the heart with 1210 on the other side. 6 hours and 90 minutes equals 7:30 in time. 730 minutes equals 1210 in time. And the date that lines up with 6/6 on the calendar cipher system is 157 days. 157 days, 117 minutes equals 157 in time. And 1170 in military time converts to 1210 in time. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. So now let's drop down to, so we have your auxin, your oxytocin here at 88, your 88 miles per hour times your 137.5 photon absorption equals 1.21 gigawatts. Oxytocin works with nitric oxide in the heart, your heart-mind convergence, using chemistry, using alchemy, using mathematics, using frequency, using time mirror mathematics, and sigil mathematics, if you will. So your twin triangular enfoldings of the throat chakra that create the vibration. Cancer lines up at the heart, 6 hours and 90 minutes equals 7:30 in time, 730 minutes equals 1210 in time. Like 1210 lining up at the heart chakra here. L Evan times L Evan equals 121, and L mirrored and flipped is 73. The next zodiac sign we have at the solar plexus being Leo, and Leo mirrored and flipped is 37. And we have 37 genes of the mitochondrial matrix here at 528 hertz. Lines up with Leo. We have 37 genes of the mitochondrial matrix, and Leo mirrored and flipped is 37. I don't think I even need to explain any more than that. Let's drop down here. We have Virgo lining up here at the sacrum, and when we go back up, we have Scorpio, the only two zodiac signs with the letters M representing them. And this is our me time. This is your emotions, where our energy. Flip that M up 90 degrees. It's an E. It's an M. It's meme. It's the empire. 44 BC, the empire begins. And Libra, the scales. It's fucking perfect that the scales just line up here, because when that thought seed goes down here and plants itself as a seed, that old version of yourself that you thought that you used to be, that you don't want to be anymore, you want to be this new version of self, you saw this new thing and you're like, I want to be fucking that. I want to be like that guy. And now you've thought about that shit 100 times, and now it's planted itself as a seed, and now you become that seed whenever you put enough energy and emotion and storyline and time into that idea, and you've thought about it a fucking 1,000 times, and it's starting to become your energy, it's starting to become your emotions, and it's starting to manifest into fucking matter, what matters most to you, motherfucker. And now, Sagittarius, he shoots that arrow up, and you manifest that thing right up into your fucking heart. It's like you fell in love with whatever that idea was, and now it's becoming part of your DNA. And let's see, Scorpio lined up here, Sagittarius lined up here, that he's shooting the arrow. I had him shooting that thing up because this is the rise of the photon, this is the rise of the phoenix. This is hero's journey, and your solar plexus running at 528 hertz, and your 5-star mitochondrial matrix. That's what is shooting hydrogen ions, creating hydrogen proton pumping machine that's creating your inner plasma. And yeah, it's a 5-star mitochondrial matrix. It has an inner membrane and an outer membrane. 5 and 5. So your hero's journey, the rose is a 5-petal flower, and when he rose, or her rose journey, it's all about that 5-star mitochondrial matrix. And your L electrolyte salts, L mirrored and flipped is 73. 73 minutes equals 113 in time. 113 mirrored is 311. The date 311 lines up with 44 hertz on the calendar cipher system. But we're not going to get into that. We're talking about the chemistry still here. So yeah, 528 hertz lining up with Leo here in Sagittarius. Leo mirrored and flipped is 37. Your 37 genes of the mitochondrial genome, 13 of those genes are responsible for making enzymes that are involved in oxidative phosphorylation, and that is stimulated by ATP production is stimulated by your electrolytes, bicarbonate, and nitric oxide. That is stimulated by the oxytocin within the hypothalamus chamber. So, and your plasma endorphins, look up 111 hertz. 111 hertz is what releases endorphins, and it's your body's what are those fucking called? Neuroceptors, but your inner plasma, your 111 hertz, your holy frequency. You can Google this shit. It literally releases endorphins, plasma endorphins, and that's a Christ oil that's being released. Your proteins that are being released from the hypothalamus, that's a Christ oil, and it's piezoelectric. It's liquid crystal, and Christ being crucified on 4/3 when 430 minutes equals 710 in time, and 71 minutes equals 111 in time, like your motherfucking holy frequency. And the next day, being 4/4 after he's crucified, it's one giant fucking mockery in the narrative. So, yeah, let's just fucking get into it right here while I got you guys here, because yeah, Christ being crucified in 4/3, the next day being 4/4, like Julius Caesar being assassinated in 4 before BC, being stabbed 33 times, and Roma slaying his twin brother Remo, 44 BC. The Republic falls. The Empire begins. Remember E and M, your emotions, your matter? And they're building the city in 44 hertz and telling 32 hertz to go fuck itself, basically. So, on 3/11, that lines up with 44 hertz on my calendar cipher system. Like your adoption of the Confederate States Constitution on 3/11, and 9/11 minutes equals 3/11 in time. Like the Jewish Colonization Association on 9/11. And on the date 3/11, that lines up with 44 hertz on the calendar cipher system, and that equals 71 days, like your Christ oil. 7-1 out of 0, mirror and flip it, it's oil. And Standard Oil, owned by the Rockefellers, they changed the frequency of 44 hertz back in 1953, from 432 hertz to 440 hertz in 1953. So the Devil's Comet has a 71-year orbit, and it made it pass by in 2024. 2024 minus 71 years, Christ oil, 71, equals 1953, the year that the Rockefellers changed the frequency from 44 hertz, or 432 hertz, to 44 hertz. Just like the date 3/11, equaling 44 hertz on the calendar cipher system, equaling 182 days after 9/11, like your Missouri Compromise of 1820. 182 days after 9/11. 9/11 was the Missouri Compromise, or 9/11 was the adoption of, or the Jewish Colonization Association created by Maurice de Hirsch, your Bavarian philanthropist, like your Bavarian Illuminati. So, yeah, fucking 9/11 minutes equals 3/11 in time. The date 3/11 lines up with 44 hertz. And 5/11, the Lemuria, 44 BC, that's celebrated on 5/9, 5/11, and 5/13. So 5/11 and 44 BC, Roma says his twin brother Remo, the Republic falls and the Empire begins, and 5/11 in time equals 3/11 minutes. So colonization of the sacrum, written into stories of all this shit, so that Devil's Comet having the 71-year oil, or having the 71-year orbit, and 71 add the 0 is Christ oil mirrored and flipped. Christ is crucified on 4/3, 430 minutes equals 710 in time. The next day is 44, or 4/4. The Devil's Comet having a 71-year orbit made a pass by in 2024. 2024 minus 71 years equals 1953, when Rockefellers, who owned Standard Oil, changed the frequency from 432 hertz to 44 hertz in 1953. 1953 minus 71-year Devil's Comet, 7-1, like Christ oil mirrored and flipped. 1953 minus 71 years equals the year 1882, when Edmund Rothschild started his settlements in Ottoman Palestine, and he's the one who later took over the Jewish Colonization Association that was created on 9/11. And 1882, 1882, like your Missouri Compromise of 1820, like 311 equaling 182 days after 9/11, equaling 71 days like your Christ oil, equaling 44 hertz on the calendar cipher system. And Christ was crucified on 4/3. The next day equals 4/4. The Lemuria, Romo says his twin brother Emu, 511, 44 BC. You guys catching this? I fucking hope so. Because there's a giant mockery going on within this calendar system. And the hexahedron cube lining up at 44 hertz. This is L. That's a 90-degree square. See the L right there? Your L electrolyte salt, bicarbonate, L electrolyte salts. And L mirrored and flipped is 73. 73 minutes equals 113 in time. 113 mirrored is 311. The date 311 lines up with 44 hertz, lining up with the cube here. And the date 216. First off, the hexahedron, this is a hexahedron, the platonic solid, and the dimensions of the hexahedron equals 2160 degrees. The date on the calendar, 216, equals 47 days. 470 minutes equals 750 in time, when 730 in time equals 7.5 hours, like 750, 75, lining up with 47, and 47 days lining up with the date 216. And L, mirrored and flipped, is 783, like 730 in time equaling 7.5 hours. And we are 75% water, and quartz crystal holds perfect time, and our DNA is liquid crystal, and it's dodecahedron shaped, and the dimensions of the dodecahedron equals 6480 degrees. Remember, this is the electromagnetic heart. L Evan times L Evan equals 121, when L mirrored and flipped is 73, and 730 minutes equals 1210 in time. Cancer lines up here at the heart, 6 hours and 90 minutes equals 730 in time. And 6480, we're liquid crystal, and we're 75% water, and 7.5 days equals 648,000 seconds. Quartz crystal holds perfect time, remember? And our DNA is dodecahedron shaped, and we're 75% water. Quartz crystal holds perfect time, and yeah, 69 lines up at the heart chakra, the zodiac. 6 hours and 90 minutes equals 730 in time. 730 in time equals 7.5 hours, and we're 75% water, and liquid crystal DNA, which is dodecahedron shaped, 7.5 days equals 648,000 seconds. And all of that stuff measures time. Quartz crystal holds perfect time. So yeah, this thing is fucking bananas. And this is Altitude pillars connecting to all the dates on the calendar. And for example, let's see. At the sacrum here, we have 1166 lining up with the date 1027, and 1166 hertz plus 22 hertz equals 1188 hertz. On the other side of here, when the date 1027, that lines up with there, plus 22 days equals 1118, like the date 1118 lining up with 1188 hertz. And this happens through all of these sections here. So, it's getting kind of dark, and I don't want to drag this video out too long, but yeah, the heart chakra here, 1144 hertz going down, 606 lines up with 66, and on the other side here we have 1210 hertz lining up with the date 1210. So whenever I lined up the dates with here, I started off with 1232 because the end of the calendar ends on 1231. That's the last day of the year, so that 1232 would be 101. And that's what we start this thing off, is at the 101 down here. I just didn't write that. 101, 202, 303, 404, 505. And this thing is like it's a torus. It's a giant torus system. So 1232 ends this thing whenever we're doing the thoughts you did pillars 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99. 1111 is the crown. 1111 plus 11 equals 1122. 1122 plus 11 equals 1133, plus 11 equals 1144, plus 11 equals 1155, plus 11 equals 1166, plus 11 equals 1177, plus 11 equals 1188, going up the Queen's Chamber. That lines up with the base of the pyramid, 440 cubits, measures the base of the pyramids of Giza. 11.88 cubits is the Queen's Chamber. 1188 plus 11 equals 1199, lined up at the solar plexus, going up. 1199 plus 11 equals 1210, lining up at the heart chakra, going up. 1210 plus 11 equals 1221, lining up at the throat chakra with 741 hertz. And 1221 plus 11 equals 1232, ending this thing. And 1232 lines up with the date 101, because 1231 ends the calendar year. So check this shit out. Once I lined all of this stuff up, a year, maybe like 6 months later, I found out that 741 minutes equals 1221 in time. And 77 lines up here with 741, and the date that lined up with 1133 hertz was the date 924, when 77 years equals 920. 77 years equals 924 months. So I didn't find that out until like a year after I already built this thing. So the fact that 1221, 741 lined, or 77 lined up with 741 here, the throat chakra, and 1133 lines up with the date 924, and 1221 hertz lines up with the date 1221, when 741 minutes equals 1221 in time, and 77 years equals 924 months. The odds of that, I nearly shit myself whenever I found those two things, because building this, it was an accident. I was just like fucking around. So the date that lines up with 1144 hertz is 1005, or 105. That can be written as 1005 or 105. And the date 1210 lines up with 1210 hertz up here. And 66 can be written, the date 66 can be written as 66 or 606. So watch this. 1144 hertz plus 66 hertz equals 1210 hertz, right? The date 105 plus 66 days equals the date 1210. So we have some strange things that happen within this too, because the date 105, let's see, the date 105 lines up with 1144 hertz, and 105 mirrors 501. See how it's 501 backwards? The date 501 equals 121 days, like 1210. And remember, that's the date that the Illuminati were founded. And this is the most electromagnetic day of the year. 12, when the Illuminati was founded on 501, equaling 121 days, when L Evan times L Evan equals 121, and L mirrored and flipped is 73, when 730 minutes equals 1210 in time. So for the Illuminati to be founded on 501, and 501 in time equals 301 minutes, like 181 minutes equals 301 in time, and L Evan days equals 301% of the year, like 181 minutes equaling 301 in time, and round we go with that fucking electromagnetic colonization equation. Colonizing our fucking heart chakra. They colonized the sacrum, your Indian Removal Act of 1830, on 528 that lines up here at the solar plexus. How many indigenous people were genocided from European colonization? The narrative will tell you 55 million. And your resolution 181 on 1129, 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days, and 550 days equals 18 months and 1 day. So the major colonization going on within the solar plexus, within the fucking narrative. And yeah, my investigation on colonization is pretty much fucking done with. I'm wrapping this shit up, and yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up, and I'm gonna do a video on colonization and this whole entire story, and we're gonna fucking crack this case of the Gregorian calendar, slave masters, Masonic, Jesuit calendar, and mentally enslaving us with the English language and the labels and the law enforcement. The LA, your sixth solfeggio tone, La, representing the note A, which that's the Freemason compass and square. We're gonna get into that tomorrow on the next video and break down the whole law enforcement and how they create this English language, and the Al, Phi, Bet. The A through L is 1 through 12, like 12 notes of music, and they teach you the alphabet by singing a little song. So the indoctrination of the Rockefeller Standard Oil, they capitalized on creating the Board of Education in 1902, and not to be mistaken with Horace Mann, the falcon sun god of ancient Egypt. Horace Mann, a Massachusetts legislator, advocated for all the free public schools in 1830, like your Indian Revolt of 1830 and your Trail of Tears from 1830 to 1850, your fugitive flight back to 1850, and 1830 in military time equals 18.5 hours, equaling 1110 minutes, like the Days of the Dead on 11/1, and your Christ being crucified on 4/3, equaling 67 Hertz on the calendar cipher system, when 670 minutes equals 11:10 in time, like 111, and 430 minutes equals 7:10 in time. 7:10 in time, mirrored and flipped, is your Christ oil, and the date 7:10 lines up with 670 hertz. 670 minutes equals 11:10 in time. 71 minutes equals 111 in time, like your holy frequency, 111 hertz, that releases plasma endorphins, that is stimulated by oxytocin, and that stimulates the nitric oxide within the endothelium of your heart, and that works with the electrolytes secreted from your kidneys, the bicarbonate, and that creates ATP production, oxidative phosphorylation within the solar plexus, running at 528 hertz. Platonic solid that I have here at the solar plexus is the circle, the sun, and the dimensions of the sun being 864,000 miles in diameter. We have the tetrahedrons here at 720 at 33. Your root's 33. 720 times 3 equals 2160 here at 44 hertz. 2160 times 4 equals 8640 solar plexus. And that's how this thing works, kids. You guys have a good night. I love you.